On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we continue our breakdown of OU's spring roster with the running backs. Then in football, guys talking basketball, we talk about OU women's basketball going to the Sweet 16 and talk some Thunder. Then, of course, we give you our winners and losers of the week, including a discussion about a great idea from Mike Gundy. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, March 26th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. T-ball debut last night.
How'd it go?
My debut as first base coach went well. It honestly went as well as I could have asked. My son took big swings. I sent you the video. He's out there ripping it, Ted. So all is well in the T-ball world for the little sluggers.
Yeah, you will find, well, maybe not, but I found as T-ball first base coach not the easiest position in the world.
I learned from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I yelled softly.
Go, keep running. I was shocked. But I mean, I get it. Like, as it's just a known thing, you run through first base, right? But it is a very difficult concept to teach to little kids that you have to be on the base, except for first base, you can run through. I feel like that took us years to figure out as a baseball team.
I just went with I need you to run to me and give me a high five.
There you go.
And I was standing behind and just to the right of first base.
It's good.
And a lot of hand signals like, come on, come give me the high five. Come on.
Keep coming. That's good.
They did great. It was a great debut. I was very pleased. Shocked,
That's
honestly.
Awesome. It's fun too. Like I went into it like dreading the whole thing and ended up having a lot of fun.
I had a blast. We'll do we'll check in on T-ball, what you got going on with baseball every once in a while here, but we got to get to the OU football stuff before I start talking about what type of adjustments we need to make to the batting order to optimize it. We've gone out to practice, so we haven't exactly gotten through our roster breakdown as smoothly as we wanted to, but we're getting back to it now. And we're talking running backs. And when you consider everything going on with OU football, you've got the toughest schedule in the country in 2025. You've got Brent Venables. We all know what's on the line for him this season as the head coach. And I hate to start the conversation here, Ted, but when you look at OU's running back room, with everything that's on the line this season, do the Sooners have a true difference maker in that room?
I don't think so. But, it's hard to say. And it's been a complaint for a while now that not everything is on the running backs. There are clearly have been other issues, right? And when everything is functioning properly, it makes everyone's job easier. And that doesn't change for running backs. When the offensive line is performing really well, typically have more production at running back. When the quarterback is making the right reads and decisive with the football, usually helps the running back. That hasn't happened a whole heck of a lot, but it's something we've talked about a lot. At running back, you have to make guys miss. You have to get the extra yards. You have to be able to run through tackles. You have to be able to turn a 2, 3 yard gain into an 8, 9, 10 yard gain. Got to be able to go out, get first downs, tough, hard yardage when you need to, make guys miss in space whenever you have opportunity. And I mean, I don't think it's uh, I don't think it's a bad thing to say that it hasn't been good enough, and I think everyone would agree with that. Now we've had flashes. It felt like Barnes finally, he had that freshman year where he looked really promising. Then he battled injury, had a tough year, and it looked like he had finally kind of rediscovered that aggressive nature at running back, had a good game against Ole Miss, and then he goes down with injury. So, I don't know with him what his status is going to be. Xavier Robinson kind of came onto the scene after that, had some really nice moments. I think that there's a lot of potential to build with him. He was just a freshman. Same thing with Tatum. But, you know, we have to get way better. And doesn't mean that people on the roster can't make large jumps. I don't know. The clock's ticking.
I think when you look at the roster as a whole, I think the argument could be made that running back is the number one position that needs to be addressed in the spring transfer portal.
Yeah. Fair.
And I am not saying that I'm not excited about Xavier Robinson's future, Taylor Tatum's future. That's not what I'm saying. I feel like we know what Barnes and Sawchuck are. But you got the toughest schedule in all of college football with everyone's job on the line. I believe you need a proven difference-making back. That's just how I feel. And it feels like we've been talking about it for a couple years now. Like, you need a guy that can make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And maybe Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum end up being those guys. I'm not saying you need to give up on those guys. I'm excited about those guys' future. But when it comes to the 2025 season, I feel like there's a bit of too much of an unknown. There's too much uncertainty at the running back position for me with everything that's on the line.
I totally agree. And I mean, you just look back to last year and compare at that position the teams we played. Tennessee, they had the conference leading rusher, Rocket Sanders at South Carolina, the backfield that Texas has, Auburn with what they had in Hunter, Alabama. Everyone we faced had legit high-end running back. We have to, at a minimum, get to that level. I mean, it's just, and if that means they feel comfortable with the development of the guys on campus, or you've got to go out and address that need through the transfer portal post-spring, we have a lot of ground to make up at that position. And I mean, I like I said, I don't think that anyone would disagree with that. Whenever you look at the production over the last couple of years, it's been one of the main frustration points of the offense.
I think it'll be really interesting because remember, you got new eyes on this roster. You've got a new general manager in Jim Nagy. You've got a new assistant general manager in Taylor Redd. Like, they're coming in and evaluating this roster as a whole, but I haven't talked to these guys about this. I'm interested in what they think about the running back room. Because I feel like you and I think an upgrade needs to be made. And I am confident that there are going to be difference-making running backs available in the spring portal. The thing about it, Ted, is that comes with the price tag.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the sport. So, and this is my plea to people that listen to this podcast. And I'm dead serious about this. If you're interested in helping Oklahoma football address their biggest roster needs, reach out. Reach out to us. DM us on Twitter. You can email us at the Oklahoma Breakdown at gmail.com. We will get you connected with the proper people. Now, anything helps. Join One Oklahoma, oneoklahoma.com. If that is for, a smaller monthly type donation that can help OU build its roster the way that they want to build it. But if you are serious about OU addressing its biggest needs in the spring portal, and I mean, serious, large sum serious, reach out. We will get you connected with the proper people. And we all want this team to do really well in the fall. And it takes money to do it. It's just the bottom line, man. That's the sport right now. I know that revenue sharing is coming. That has no effect on this spring transfer portal.
Yeah.
So if you want to help OU address their roster needs in a big way, reach out. We'll get you connected to the proper people.
No doubt. The running back position is interesting. I'm curious to see what happens through the recruiting and through the transfer portal if it mirrors the NFL to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Like the NFL, the running back has become less and less important, and maybe not less important, but not a premium position that a lot of money goes to. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think in college football, it's going to be a little bit different, at least for the time being, but I don't know. That's where the real value hunting comes in, because you can find difference makers out there with the right evaluation for probably, a palatable asking price. But if you're going to go out and get a true, we have to get better right this moment, right now, we need a star, just like anything else, it's going to cost money.
I think, and I'm just being honest, I think if you want to get a big time difference making back in the spring transfer portal, it's probably going to cost you $500,000. I'm just being straightforward. Like, I think that's probably the going rate for a big time running back.
Yeah.
So once again, if you want to help in a big way, reach out. But I do think running back, tight end clearly is still a need on the roster. And then I would say if you're listening to 1, 2, 3, it's probably running back, tight end, and then trying to add some depth at corner. Trying to, depending on how some of the pieces get moved around in the back end of the defense.
Yeah.
But the spring transfer portal is going to be, it's going to be very important for this team. And I think overall for the running back position, if they can go get a guy, I believe they need to go do it.
Yeah. Well, every situation is different, and I think the entire fan base, staff, everyone involved would agree that this is a big year. And in other years, you may be able to stay a little patient, work on, some development and all of that stuff, but we need to go right now. So, I'm sure that's always part of the formula as well. What's the future look like? How important is it to pile on some of those important players right at the moment? And kind of feels like running back and like you said, tight end is probably the top two. Yeah. It's not like you can just go anywhere and pluck them. You're kind of to some degree at the mercy to what's available, but yeah, running back is going to be critical. And this will be like the first, if that's the direction they go post spring in the transfer portal, this will be the first like major impact that Jim Nagy and his crew can have on this upcoming season.
I think when you look at the offense as a whole, you can really change things if you just get an absolute dude at running back. I think that is where there's a difference between the National Football League and college football. Now, if we can go find the next Saquon Barkley, that would be great.
Yes.
That would be great. But I still think the running back position, if you just have a guy that is an incredible player, I think the impact that they can have in a college football game is greater than the impact they can have in an NFL game.
Tackling. Yeah. Tackling is so much more of a struggle in college with the space that you can create. And I mean, you got mismatches. You have a guy that can make somebody miss and like we said, make something out of nothing or make something a home run, then that there's so much hidden yardage there that we just haven't had. I mean, it's one of the things that I feel like we come on and talk about every weekend after a game is like there's opportunities there in the ankle pick tackle, like the one guy to beat and you've got an explosive run. It's blocked up good. This last guy is on the running back, and we just way too often can't get through that tackle.
This has been a very interesting way to break down the running back room. I
Right.
we haven't talked about a single guy really, but I do think that when you look at Arbuckle's offense, I went and looked at what they did at Washington State a year ago. I think they threw it 399 times and they ran it 461. Now, a lot of those, I don't know how many of those were John Mateer dropping back to pass and then scrambling. I didn't go watch every single play and chart that, Ted. I'm sorry.
Come on, what are you doing?
I know, lazy. But I bring up those numbers to say, hey, they're going to run the football. Ben Arbuckle wants to run the football. But if you don't have a guy that you're confident that can go get 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 consistently, then you need to go get a guy that you think can. So yeah. I'm very interested to see what happens at the running back position once the spring portal is open.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd almost be surprised if they don't go get someone.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's not the best way to put it. I think I'm just speaking my desires out loud, like
into existence.
Yes, I'm trying to speak it into existence. Like, hey, go get an absolute dude at running back.
Yeah,
because that would make me feel better about the overall impact that this offense can have in the 2025 season.
It all works together, and it feels like it's starting to shape up in a good way at wide receiver. But we all know, man, if you can't be balanced, if you can't run the football, and Mateer is going to be super effective running the ball. We know that. In a perfect world, and I think everyone would probably tell you this, you don't want your quarterback carrying the bulk of the load in the running game. The less, the better. Now, you still want it to be effective. You still want it to be a part of what you do. To keep defenses honest and have them, always thinking and worrying about the quarterback run game. It helps it out that much more. But you got to have someone that can carry the load, be a threat out of the backfield, dictate defenses a little bit more. And, I think it'll make the whole operation run way more efficiently.
Let's say it one more time. If you would like to help OU address their roster needs in the spring transfer portal in a significant way, a substantial way, just reach out. We'll get you connected to the right people. You can DM us on Twitter, email us, theoklahomabreakdown@gmail.com. And we'll get you pointed in the right direction.
There you go.
All right, now that we've said that they absolutely need to bring someone else in, let's talk about the guys that are on the roster currently. But first, Hitting the highway? Remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway. And with the Love's app, you can also save big. How big? 10 or 15 cents big. Save 10 cents per gallon on gas and 15 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app today and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
You listen to this podcast to get insight from the guys who played the game. Why don't you take that same approach when it comes to buying your beef? When you order from Didier Ranch, you are getting your beef directly from the people who raise it. A rancher knows what it takes to have premium quality beef. Didier Ranch has done it for over 100 years right here in Oklahoma. From delicious 21-day dry-aged ribeyes to savory steak burgers, there is no better place to get your beef. Get your beef from the guys who've done it and use code Oklahoma15 for 15% off on DidierRanch.com. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, an Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. It's time to get ready for spring break and spring sports with Simple Modern. Have you seen their new getaway bag? It's perfect for lugging all the equipment to and from soccer or baseball fields all spring long. Its thick rubber sides stand up no matter what you throw at it, and if it gets dirty, you can just hose it off. It's good everywhere you'll need to go this spring. And with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many in Oklahoma, you're also helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. Let's start the running backs on the roster currently conversation with a little trivia, Ted.
Okay.
Last season, 2024 Oklahoma Sooners. Who gained the most rushing yards for the football team?
Oh my gosh.
If you're thinking
running back,
I said who gained the most yards rushing for the football team.
My first instinct is to go with Jackson Arnold.
You are correct. He gained 715 rushing yards. Now, he also lost 271.
Right.
So Jovantae Barnes was technically the leading rusher because he gained 598 and only lost 21. So he had 577 total rushing yards. Arnold had 444. But I bring that up to point out what we just talked about. All of the guys that are currently in that room were on the football team a year ago, except for Torrey Blaylock. And guy's got speed. We'll see if he gets in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Very highly recruited, excited about his future. But all of the guys, that's why we keep saying, hey, where's the difference maker? Because Jackson Arnold gained the most rushing yards for this team last year. And I know there was offensive line problems. I'm fully aware of that. But I feel like we know exactly what Jovantae Barnes is. And that's where the conversation starts in the running back room. Like, we know what Jovantae Barnes is. He is a guy that's going to play really physical and get what's blocked. And you have to have more than that at the running back position in the SEC. You just have to. But Barnes is really solid. Like there is some comfort in knowing exactly what you're going to get from a guy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the one thing whenever you look at the list of guys is we've had, I don't know that. When's the last time we had a running back that played the full season? You know, I mean, it feels like whether it's rotational or injury, it feels like the running back position is constantly under change. There's a new guy every couple of weeks, and like we need to stay healthy. We need to have a good developmental offseason. But I mean, you're right. I think Barnes, I don't know what his availability is going to be like and how long it's going to be before he's back to 100%. But I mean, physically, he looks really good right now. And
he always has, though.
Never been a problem. That's right.
He's always looked great. It's just, especially coming off a major foot injury, I don't expect him to just all of a sudden make a bunch of people miss. He's never been that guy.
that's the last place your confidence is going to come with the foot, is those real hard physical cuts, whenever you're bearing down on a guy and you've got to, I mean, it's forceful. The amount of weight that's going transferring through your leg and into the foot and into the turf, like that's the last thing that you're probably the sharpest on. And it's not like it's the last thing you want with him as a setback, because it felt like he was just now getting the confidence back in some of those cuts, and we were starting to see him make some guys miss. So, yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to get though. Physical, tough. He did. Now I don't know assignment wise how great he was, but we talked about it a lot on the broadcast. He is not scared to stick his nose in there in protection and go take on a blitzing back, and that is very important. And as we go through the guys, it's something we're going to talk about. A lot of inconsistency in the pass protection stuff.
I think the next guy in the conversation is Xavier Robinson, right? You go out to practice right now. Xavier Robinson's going out there with the first group. He looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's up to 235 pounds, but he looks more solid than he did a year ago at a lighter weight.
Yeah, he was you heard Venables talk about it last year. He was kind of heavy, out of I mean, I don't know if I should say out of shape, but needed to work on body composition, lost a lot of weight, and it looks like now he's built back up to almost where he was previously, but way better put together. I mean, he looks really good.
I think we're all very excited about his future. But he had 233 yards rushing last year.
Yep.
And he's only a second year player. So do I have questions about if he's ready to be an every down back and carry the load for this team throughout an entire SEC season? Yes, I have those questions, and I think those questions are fair. But I think he's going to be a big piece of this offense. It just comes down to, is he the type of running back in a make or break season for this program? Is he currently where you need him to be in his development? I don't know. I'm excited about him. There's no doubt about it. I think one area where he's better than I think he was utilized a year ago is catching the ball. I think he catches it really well out of the backfield. And I'm interested to see how Arbuckle gets him more involved as a receiver. But I just don't know if he's where you need to be. You mentioned it earlier, Ted. Like, the starting running backs for a lot of the teams we played last year were absolute dudes. And I think Xavier Robinson can be a really, really good player, but I don't know if he's quite there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it goes back to, how pressing of a season this is, and do you have time to wait around and see if he develops into that guy? I'd say the answer is probably no. And even if you do go get someone, one of the benefits of that is it cranks up the intensity in that room. And if there's any comfort at all there, it changes that pretty quickly. And guys will have to say, like, all right, like, I really need to figure this out. I need to develop quickly. And the competition would definitely ramp up. And you can learn from each other as well. Seeing guys doing something out there, you can mimic that and build off of it.
Can I tell you something that I don't know if this is undoubtedly going to be an unpopular opinion. I feel like you and I have a very good understanding of how important this season is for OU.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't exactly heartbroken when they missed on Jonathan Hatton, the big time recruit.
Right.
Because in order to get him, you are going to have to make some type of commitment to him, right? And now, whatever that number was going to be, whatever that dollar amount was going to be, it now comes back into the pool of, hey, let's address the roster for this season. I
Yeah.
that was I want them to land all the big recruits. But I'm kind of short-sighted right now when it comes to what this team and this program is going to be. You have to have that long-term view, but man, it's this season is so important that what I saw, I was like, man, that stinks, but let's deploy that on someone else
Yeah.
that can help in 2025.
Yep. That's right. I mean, and it's not knowing what the future holds. Also, it could be your last opportunity to maybe make some of these big moves out there. I think it'll still happen, obviously, but it's a good opportunity. And there, we've seen it a million times. There are no guarantees in high school recruiting. There's no guarantees really in anything. But if you're talking about a hit percentage, if you can bring up college film and seeing guys doing exactly what you want them to do in your offense at this level, far more likely to have a hit than seeing a guy in high school and trying to gauge where he's going to be in 18 months and can what you think he's going to be in 18 months, does that translate to exactly what you're going to do? There's nothing guaranteed there. Going with guys that are proven, in my opinion, is always going to be a much higher percentage game. I mean, I especially whenever you need it right now.
I think that's very fair.
And you'll have I don't know exactly how they're going to break it down, but if you got a pool of money set there for here's what we're going to pay for our running back position, like all of the guys in the room total, I mean, you'd like to allocate that to guys that you are 100% sure are going to play right now this year.
If you would like to help OU football get that type of guy, reach out. Hit us up. We'll get you connected with. How many times am I going to say that?
Well,
but I'm serious, man. It takes money to address the biggest needs on this roster. And I just honestly believe that if you can go get a big time difference maker at the running back position, that would be huge for this football team.
You have to dedicate money to research and development. You have to. And that's where your recruiting comes in. But the bulk of what you do has to be in production. And with how tight the money is going to be, and we saw this was a problem last year for a different reason, for injury, but our money needs to be on the field working. It does not need to be standing over on the sideline in jersey and, street shoes with the hoodie underneath. It needs to be on the field, racking up yards, production, critical moments in the football game. And that's the new challenge that not just Oklahoma, everyone's going to face. Where's that balance of putting money into big time recruits at positions or putting money into proven commodities, transfer portal guys at positions? And that's why we brought in Jim Nagy. He gets to handle that.
Yeah. Have fun with that, Jim.
Yeah.
Back to the running back conversation. We're all over the place today. I kind of love it. Taylor Tatum. Talented, but frustrating last season. A lot of mental mistakes and then the fumbling issues. We saw glimpses, flashes, whatever you want to call it, of just how physically talented he is. But right now, it's just hard for me to think, and maybe this isn't fair, but right now, it's just hard for me to think that he's going to make some big improvement when he's splitting time with baseball. I think, how LeBron James has made it seem like every NBA player should be able to play into their 40s?
Right.
I,
Yes.
I think Kyler Murray has given our fan base a false sense of that it's easy to do what he did, splitting baseball and football.
Yeah.
It's not, especially I think at a running back position where physical development is massive. Getting bigger, getting faster, getting stronger, living in the weight room, constantly working on becoming more explosive. That's not what you do as a baseball player.
Right.
So that's where it just, once again, I'm excited about the future of Taylor Tatum on the field, but I just don't know. I don't know how much improvement to expect from him when he's not solely focused on football and developing physically the way that he needs to develop to be as good as he can be on the football field. Once again, I I have no problem that he's playing both sports. That's awesome. I know he's a really, really good baseball player.
But you still have to factor it in.
But we focus on the football team on here. And I think the bottom line is it's hard to think he's going to get way, way better when during this big development period for him, he's splitting time. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think that's just kind of my feeling on the entire situation.
Yeah. Well, I agree with your frustration with him last year. It's not a good thing when a running back comes into the game and I instantly get worried that number one, if he carries the football, he's going to fumble it. And number two, if it's a passing play, he doesn't know who to block. And if he does know who to block, is going to really struggle blocking that guy. It was really tough at times. I will say this: I have to check myself because and it's back to the baseball thing. He was not an early arrival last year. He did not come to spring football. He was playing baseball in his senior year in high school. That's fine. But, a lot of guys were already a big chunk ahead of him because he didn't have that extra offseason work. So whenever he came in last year, he's like an old school true freshman. Showed up in the summer, went through training camp, and then is out there in the mix, which even in this day and age, it happens more often because of that early arrival, but still a true freshman, still very new to it. So, I mean, that's where I'm hopeful that we do see a big jump for him is that he was behind whenever he started last year. But, I mean, it goes back to the baseball thing. I have no problem that he's doing it, but you have to expect that a typical true freshman that you see him make the typical struggles out there in action is going to make the big leap. We don't know how that his leap is going to be as big as most because of the baseball part of it. I mean, it's just a fact. Everything has become more and more specifically focused. It is so hard to play at this level at baseball or football. And whenever your attention is diverted, it's just natural that you're not going to get as good as you possibly could whenever that attention is split, that focus is split, that development is split. It's just it's a fact. Now, that all that being said doesn't mean that he can't still have some massive improvement, but I'm curious to see. Like this is the time to do it, and how many practices, how many of those meetings and moments is he going to miss? And maybe it's not all that much, but it's still going to be some, and he's again falling behind.
I think you said it well. Like he started behind. I don't think the way to catch up, especially when you have a new offensive coordinator in a new offensive system, I don't think the best way to catch up is playing two sports.
Right.
It's just in I want him to play baseball. I do. Like I want him to succeed on the diamond, but this is a football conversation. And I just think there's no denying that him having to split time with baseball is holding him back in his development on the football field.
No doubt.
And it is what it is. So that it goes back to kind of the overall point of this entire running back conversation is right now on the roster, does this team have a guy that you can point to and go, he is a for sure, absolute difference maker for this team in 2025? Like he can change games. He can be the difference between OU winning a game and losing a game. There's going to be how many coin flip games this season?
All of them in the SEC, probably.
Right? Do we have a guy that can make OU be on the winning side instead of the losing side at running back? And right now, I just don't think you can say that we have that guy.
No, it's all projection and how much better are they going to get from last year to the fall? And that's something that you don't know.
One guy we haven't talked about is Gavin Sawchuck. Clearly just a weird year for Sawchuck last year. The interesting thing is, if you go talk to the coaches, he's undoubtedly the leader in that room. I thought he was going to jump in the portal after the season. After the answer he gave us after the Navy game.
That way. Yes.
He's like, I love Oklahoma. I was like, oh, he's gone. But he's still there. And the one thing I will say about Gavin is he has picked up Arbuckle's system quicker than any other back. And I feel like that's why you've seen him get time over the last couple of seasons, even though really he hasn't been that impressive physically, is they can trust the guy. And there's a lot of value in a guy that does everything right and that you can trust to do the right things when you put him out on the field. But once again, I feel like I know what Gavin Sawchuck is. He's it, and that's not a big time difference maker. He has not shown to be that type of guy. He just hasn't.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's kind of just a little unreasonable to think that all of a sudden he's going to become a 750-yard back. I just don't think that's in the cards for him. That doesn't mean he's not a great leader. He isn't a great example for the other guys in the room. Like I think he is, but I just don't think he's the type of back you need to have a big time offense in the SEC.
Yeah, and it's crazy to look back whenever he and Barnes were freshmen. It was, we felt like we're going to be good at running back for the future. Barnes is going to be our physical downhill guy, and Sawchuck's going to be, the change up, the open field, a little bit more of a versatile athlete at the position. And, both guys have their path has been tough, injuries, setbacks throughout. I do think that Arbuckle's system, I'm glad to hear that he's picked it up really quickly, because I do think that it kind of fits his style. But again, you got to go back to what do we know versus what do we project? Like in the perfect world, if everyone's healthy and everything is right, maybe, you do say that Sawchuck could have a nice year for us. But the realist part is he's had a really hard time staying healthy. And I mean, that's one of the main things at running back is you got to be durable. It can't be 2 games and then miss 2 games and then miss 1. You got to be a guy that's constantly available, that can take the physical pounding. And I think that's really what has limited him. He's been injury prone, which, not his fault. Not all of it is, you can just place on him. It's just a fact that you have to think about. And I mean, I'm with you. In a perfect world, Sawchuck 100% healthy in the perfect scheme with a great offseason, do I think that he could have a productive season? I do. But would you bet your career on it? Would you bet your season on it? At this point, I don't think so.
Let's get to call your shot. We asked you guys your strongest take about OU's running back room, the current running back room. I thought this one from Kurt the Sooner was very interesting. Torrey Blaylock will be the lead back before the end of the season. He will impact our offense similar to how Caden Durham impacted LSU last year.
Hmm.
I hope Kurt the Sooner is right. That would be huge for this team. I don't know a ton about Torrey Blaylock. I've seen the high school highlights. Guy looks explosive. Guy looks very fast. I know that his dad played in the NFL for a long time. Like, clearly, he knows the position. He knows how to work. Like, when your dad played in the NFL, I have a feeling he knows how to practice. He knows how to work in the weight room. But once again, we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it. So it's hard. It's hard to say, oh, there's no doubt this guy's going to have a massive impact on this team in 2025.
Well, I would honestly say that you could probably, I mean, it's not, first of all, it's not fair to expect that and put, I mean, if you got that, that's like a massive bonus, right? But it's rare to see true freshmen come in and have that type of impact. It happens, but it's not something that you see routinely. Um, I honestly think that with what he shows, I think he is has the potential to be a really nice change up back with the speed and the quickness, the open field stuff. I think he'd be great in the passing game. We'll just see. Again, I I've really liked what I've seen from him athletically, but do you stake your season on it? I don't think you can go that far. And I think we'll see as the spring progresses, we'll start to hear and start to see, like, if he's starting to take a bigger chunk of reps, then maybe they have something there. And what happens in the post spring portal window? Do they make a move at running back? That probably tells you whether they think he's going to be an immediate impact guy, or take the typical and not a bad thing at all route of a freshman where you take a year to you develop physically, get your understanding of the offense and the lay of the land, which is not a bad thing. I do think that he's got a promising future. I don't know that, and I haven't seen, I can't say that I'm ready to say it's going to happen this season.
Yeah. This other one comes from at Boomer Damn Sooner. He says, we still don't have a true number one, and with the schedule we have, we will likely need a few guys to creep up to that status. Barnes made some great progress last year, and I'm pumped for a bigger workload for X. Tatum has all the talent in the world if he can hold on to the ball. DeMarco really needs clear, defined roles for these guys. It just comes down to, I feel like our guy Cole just said what we've been saying. Like, you can project that someone is going to turn into a big time back for this team, but you don't know that. It's a projection. There's uncertainty there, which brings me back to the initial point that we made. I would like for that uncertainty to be eliminated via the spring portal, which brings us back to, if you'd like to help in a significant way, if you would like to help OU improve the roster through the spring portal, reach out to us. We'll get you connected with the right people. But yeah, I agree with a lot of that. It just, right now, where things stand, you don't know if OU has a running back that can be the difference between winning and losing a game.
Yeah.
And I would like to have a guy where I go, you know what? I am confident that running back, with the game on the line, like, he's going to get it done. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the running back position.
No, and you know, also brought up a good point. Let's just say we signed a guy in the transfer portal right now, a guy that we feel like, okay, we got a difference maker at running back. It's going to take more than one guy this season, right? And I mean, you look at, we were talking about Ohio State before we jumped on the podcast. They had two, right? You got to have
They
numbers.
arguably had the best running back in college football, and they went and got Judkins from Ole Miss.
Yeah. Yep. It it's a long season. It's physical. You need multiple guys. So even if we did get that difference maker today, the pressure is still on this list of guys that we've talked about to see who else is going to be a big contributor and who else is going to develop and start to get to that point of being a difference maker.
If you have a seriously proven guy that comes in via the portal, a guy that's had a 1,200 yard, 1,300 yard season, like that type of season, and all of a sudden Xavier Robinson is your RB2 and Jovantae Barnes is your RB3, like you're starting to feel really good about things if Jovantae Barnes is RB3.
Yeah. Changes the outlook significantly.
You're feeling good about your depth if that's where you're at. So I'm very interested to see what happens at the running back position. I think if it was up to us, they'd make a big addition.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's definitely fair.
Now, enough with that football talk. We'll give you guys what you want. It's time for football, guys talking basketball. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. SchwabMeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
Oklahoma's favorite pub, Pub W, is a modern American pub offering a great new take on classic drinks and cuisine. They offer an extensive beer and specialty drink selection with something for everyone, and that's exactly why Pub W was voted best happy hour. And we all love a delicious brunch. Pub W brunch is served Saturdays and Sundays until 2 p.m. with some of the most delicious brunch offerings you'll find anywhere. Now open in UConn, Oklahoma. Visit one of their 6 Oklahoma locations. Visit pubdub.com for locations and menus.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
Time for some FGTB, and there's only one place to start. Jenny Baranczyk and the Oklahoma Sooners are going to the Sweet 16. Dude, that was a beatdown of Iowa.
Crazy. A lot of fun to watch. They are, when they get rolling, I mean, they are hoisting threes left and right. Reagan Beers was just destroying Iowa on the glass. I mean, I think we had like 64 rebounds to like their 30 overall, 20 offensive, 20 plus offensive to their like 4 or 5. That was something to watch.
They had 25 more shot attempts than Iowa.
Hard to win.
They also shot 20 more free throws than Iowa. And it was because, like you mentioned, Ted, they just completely dominated the glass.
Yep.
And the game felt very big for Jenny Baranczyk. I can only imagine how thrilled she was with the way that her team responded to that challenge. Yep. I mean, that was an absolute dismantling of the Hawkeyes. And Iowa's a solid team.
Good team. Yeah. And we talked about it with the game being at 3 o'clock on a Monday. Didn't really help us out. I wasn't able to be there, but for 3 o'clock on a Monday, it looked like a pretty nice atmosphere in there. That was cool.
Yeah, a lot of other OU athletes, a lot of other OU coaches in there supporting them. Ton of Sooner fans. It did seem like maybe the best atmosphere they've had all
Yeah.
season long. I think that's fair to say. But I think one of the most impressive things about that game is from an offensive production standpoint, it was a relatively quiet game for Reagan Beers.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it's because they kept hitting her in the face,
Took a couple across the nose there.
but I thought you didn't get the normal production from Beers offensively. Other people stepped up. What, they had like 6 women in double figures.
Yeah.
You had Beers, but I thought Skylar Van was really good again. Peyton Verhulst was awesome. Liz Scott hit some big shots. Zaya Van came in and immediately had a big impact. And then after the Florida Gulf Coast game, we said, hey, they got to get more from Sahara Williams. They just have to. She's too talented not to have a bigger impact. She must listen to the pod, Ted, because she was awesome in this game. I mean, especially early. Like, I felt like she set the tone that Iowa wasn't going to have a chance in the Lloyd Noble Center that day. I thought that was great stuff from Williams.
Yeah, and she did a little bit of everything. Shot the ball well. I thought she made some great passes. I mean, I love the way they move the ball. They're constantly cutting to the basket. Looks like, I mean, it's like give and go stuff, and they just pour it inside. I thought she passed the ball really well. And hey, when you have that many in numbers in double digits, it's impressive, but someone's still got to lead the show, and she was definitely the leader that day.
UConn,
Whew.
Saturday, 4:30 p.m. on ESPN. That game is in Spokane. Going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah. Is it scary that UConn went and beat South Carolina at South Carolina by like 30?
Slightly terrifying. Probably why the Huskies are a 14.5 point favorite. But, and I truly believe this, if OU plays the way that they played against Iowa, if they play with that energy, that intensity, anything can happen. Now, it all starts with slowing down Paige Beckers. Girl is an absolute baller. But there's just no doubt the Sooners got to play their best game of the season to win.
Mm-hmm.
They got to play their best game of the season to have a chance. And I hope that we get the same intensity, the same effort that we saw against Iowa. It's hard to replicate that because you were in your own building, big crowd, like that whole thing. But you got to find a way to bring that level to the state of Washington against UConn. And if you do that, they call it March Madness for a reason, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see.
And they got some momentum right now. They've played really well. They're in the Sweet 16, coming off of a really good performance. I mean, that's where you want to be mentally, with some momentum, everything kind of the wind at your back, so to speak, as you go in to play a really tough team. I mean, I would much prefer them to be where they are now than maybe having struggled and just found a way to win it late at home. They probably got a lot of confidence going into that game.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I've peeked ahead already. You beat UConn, you find a way to pull off a massive upset. You got a legit chance to go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Because, and I hate it, Juju Watkins goes down with the ACL for USC. Just brutal, man. If you haven't watched her ball, she is just absolutely fantastic to watch. But she's out. And it's USC and Kansas State in the other game there in the Spokane Regional. Oh, you could beat both of those teams. A Juju Watkins-less USC or Kansas State.
Yeah.
Like if you somehow get through this game, like they got a legit chance of going to the Final Four. So you got to get through UConn, which is quite the obstacle with the squad that they have. But yeah, if you find a way, could be Final Four bound, man. That would be a lot of fun.
It's awesome. And, I think it helps a lot. There's a spotlight on the program right now. You make it to the Sweet 16, people are talking and people are noticing what Coach Bronchek's done with that program. And then in the meantime, you land the number one recruit in the country. You happen to go pull off a UConn win. The There's going to be a lot of visibility on the Oklahoma women's basketball program. That's a good thing. And there's going to be anyways.
You know how excited I was? I inquired about a jersey patch sponsorship for women's basketball next season, if that was against any rules or not.
Oh, okay.
I'm told there are rules against it. I then responded with, please let me know if those rules change. Because, and I want to focus on this year's team because they're on a great run. They got a great opportunity against UConn. All of a sudden, you start thinking about next year. They're going to be preseason top 5,
Yeah,
top
potentially.
8, top 5. Because remember, Beers is back, Verhulst is back, Williams is back, and then you're going to add Aaliyah Chavez, who, if you haven't watched her highlights, she can absolutely hoop.
She could score.
And Jenny Baranchek likes people that score.
And she, like, her style totally fits how they play. I
I
love
the Jordan Brand deal and that whole thing and how that's working out. Like I think that played a significant role in her choosing Oklahoma. But I think
it.
the
That's what it's
biggest
for.
that's what it's for. I think the biggest difference maker was Jenny Baranchek and the style of basketball that she wants her players to play.
Yeah.
I think Aaliyah Chavez looked at that and went, I want to do that. That looks a lot more fun than setting up a bunch of half court sets and throwing it into the posts all the time. And run that. I want to do that. I want to play up and down. And they still do some of that stuff with Reagan Beers, obviously, but they it's like a hot potato out there, man. It's like
It
it's like the
is.
ball's hot coals and you got to get rid of it and shoot it at the basket if you play for this team. It's great.
Yeah. If you catch it out, if you've got a window and you catch it outside the arc, it's that thing's going towards the hoop.
As God intended.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fun. So I think it's fair to say Jenny Baranchek in Oklahoma women's basketball had a hell of a week.
They did. And they deserve it. I'm really happy. And it's one of the things that Coach Bronchek has been so good that you start to worry about keeping her. That everyone's going to, I mean, she's getting the attention, and that's a great thing. But getting the number one overall recruit, that throws a nice little anchor out there, doesn't it?
We must protect her at all costs.
That's right.
Pay Jenny B what she wants, what she deserves. She's great. Just a complete stud. All right, little OU men's basketball. No news, really?
Yeah.
Seems like the coaching dominoes won't fall until Kevin Willard at Maryland decides what he's going to do. Villanova job still open. Porter Moser's name still being mentioned every single time that discussion takes place. I guess if you're looking for a silver lining of the first round exit is they've gotten to focus on the portal, and you've seen several guys that are where OU's in, the final 2, 3, 4 that have entered the portal, but it's just insane that the portal opens in the middle of the tournament. It's
I
crazy.
know.
I guess it's no different than when it happens in college football, but it feels like an unnecessary distraction when the focus is supposed to be on the sport.
Right. Yeah. No, it
Not
is.
great.
It's not great. But you heard what Porter said. You win basketball games in April and May in the transfer portal. And that is number one, it's true. Whenever you look at, did you see the breakdown of the teams in the Sweet 16 of the transfer guys on all the rosters?
It's insane. It's why it's really, really hard to get super into college basketball now.
Yeah, it can definitely be. I mean, but it is what it is. And I, whenever you look at that and you hear what Porter said, it's like he he is letting it be known. If we want to compete, we got to have the resources to win in April and May. I mean, that's just how it is.
Just the truth. So
Just the
we'll
truth.
see if OU men's basketball gets any significant news this week, whether that's the coach or landing guys out of the portal. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk about it if it happens. Now, last thing for FGTB, Thunder continued to be a fantastic basketball team.
60 wins.
60 wins. Went on a little quick 2-game West Coast trip. Beat the Clippers on Sunday night, 103-101. Beat the Kings Tuesday night, 121-105. Looking at the Clippers game, Ted, it was kind of fun watching them play a close game. They haven't had a ton of those. You know, the last three or 4 minutes of the game where, hey, it's tied. Let's see what happens. They've been so good that they haven't been in a ton of those situations, and still no Jalen Williams in either of these games, but Thunder found a way to get it done against the Clippers. And something that is very, very encouraging is Alex Caruso may be the reason why they won that game late. And he's found his rhythm. He looks healthy. He is undoubtedly playing his best ball of the season. And that is very, very encouraging for this team as the playoffs approach.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that they are still winning at the clip that they are. And, you know, the last 10 games or so of the season, it becomes interesting with people that have maybe mailed it in, people that are maybe set in their slot in the standings and where everything's going to fall. So, and that includes the Thunder and what they do. We talked about it. Who do they rest? Who do they play? How do they stay sharp? What are they going to really focus on? But it's nice to be in the position they are where they've locked up everything, and now what they've got a 2-game lead over Cleveland on the overall home court. So in a great spot, man. Continue to be.
They're already, picking and choosing guys to rest each game. And they're still 14-1 in their last 15.
Nuts.
Shea is amazing, although the Clippers did about as good of a job as I've seen anyone do. That was as inefficient as you're going to see SGA. But I still think I think he's going to win MVP. And I think the fact that the Thunder they tied a team record in wins, and there's still 10 games to go.
I know. What do you think the number is they get to?
They can win 70. I mean, when you look at the schedule, Grizzlies, Pacers, Bulls, Pistons, at Rockets, Lakers, at Suns, at Jazz, at Pelicans. They can win all 10 of those games. They're not going to.
Like the two against the Lakers are interesting because the Lakers at that point are going to have really nothing to gain, right? In those games,
I don't know.
Depending
That's
on
the
what
thing
happens
that
behind
makes
them.
it interesting. Like at the game at Phoenix is going to be in a battle to make the play in. So that's a game you could look and go, hey, Phoenix is going to need that game. Maybe you don't play Shea or something. Like there's going to be some where, but they've been so good even with a bunch of guys out. So in the last 10, my expectation is probably 7-3. You end up with 67 wins. I think
Impressive.
worst case scenario, the last 10, you're 5-5. You're a 65 win team.
I mean,
Pretty dang good, man.
it has to be one of the largest crushes of a win-loss over under in history, right?
It's it's really nice when you can cash the ticket early.
Yeah, it's
It's
been
really nice. I
cash for a long time now.
one very important thing though for this team. They got to get J-Dub back on the court.
Yeah.
And I know that, hey, he's getting rest, he's getting back from the hip. Like, I get it. I think if the playoffs started, like, he'd be on the court. But you've got 10 games left. There's a fine balance, in my opinion, between getting him the recovery and rest he needs and getting him back in a rhythm before the playoffs. Like, I would love to see him out on the court against the Grizzlies. I just think that you've got to get him back into that groove, back into that rhythm, and you want that chemistry for this entire roster as you're ramping up for the playoffs. I know that you're going to rest guys over these next 10 games. I get it, but I don't think this is a situation where you want him to play 2 or 3 games and then okay, it's playoff time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got probably what, 3 weeks before playoffs start?
April 19th is I think the Thunder will play April 19th or April 20th,
Yeah.
which, by the way, April 19th, very significant date in this state. You get the Thunder with a home playoff game on April 19th, buddy, you ain't got a chance. I'm just pointing it out.
That's right.
Mortal lock of the century right there.
That's it. That's it. No, I think they're in a good spot, and uh, time is on their side right now for getting some guys back fully healthy, but finding the right balance. That's going to be the critical thing between now and then.
We got the best squad in the league, y'all.
Woo,
It's good to be us.
good to be us.
Got to make the finals. Got to make the finals. They're so good. Come on. Just stay healthy. You stay healthy. You got such. We'll get to a lot of basketball to be played. I'm getting ahead of myself here. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, if you're as passionate about OU sports as we are, now's your chance to make a difference with One Oklahoma. As the official NIL partner of the University of Oklahoma, One Oklahoma plays a crucial role in keeping the Sooners competitive in the SEC. Your subscription goes beyond the revenue sharing cap, directly helping recruit and support the athletes who become Sooner legends. Plus, you'll get access to exclusive events, behind the scenes content, merch, giveaways, and more. Join the team and be the difference maker for your Sooners. Join today at oneoklahoma.com. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
The NFL kickoff. I don't think there's been anything in sports that has changed more over the last 10 years or so than the NFL kickoff rule. It feels like it changes every year, and it looks like it's going to change again. Now, we all saw that they went to the totally new format with the kickoff. Touchbacks came out to the 30, trying to entice teams to kick it into the returnable zone. And they did have an improvement in returns. I think 32% of kickoffs were returned, and that's a improvement over the previous year. But still, it's the second lowest number other than 2013 since the year 2000. They want people to bring the ball out. So what they're going to do is if you kick it for a touchback, the offense is going to get the ball at the 35-yard line, which seems insane considering it wasn't very long ago. You got the ball at the 20. Now on a touchback, you get it at the 35. And I feel like that does seem like a massive breaking point for a special teams group to not just kick the thing away, right? I mean, you have to feel like you can stop them a big percentage of the time before they get to the 35-yard line. We'll see. My guess is it really helps them get returns and make that a part of the game again. But I guess nothing is guaranteed. 35-yard line as a starting point for offense seems crazy, but here we are.
I can tell you absolutely love it. I
Well, I mean, I do in a sense that I think it's going to force teams to kick it in the returnable zone and make it a part of the game again.
It will make you have to watch kickoffs again. It feels like it's become the play where you go to the bathroom or you get some snacks, whether you're at the game or watching at home.
Formality. It's just kind of a formality. It's like it's almost like watching them march the flag out for the national anthem onto the field. It's just something that happens every game. And here we go. They kick it into the end zone. You get the ball 30-yard line, and then off we go back to football. I personally would like to see that change. If you're doing it anyways, make it something that can have an impact and force teams to dedicate resources, practice time to making it an efficient part of what they do. And I have to imagine that teams aren't going to say, sure, fine, start at the 35-yard line. I mean, I don't have the analytics in front of me, but drives that start at the 35-yard line have to end up being pretty productive. I mean, you get a first down and a decent gain, you're in plus territory. That's crazy.
You think this is the NFL wanting to ramp up the scoring a little more?
I think people naturally feel that way when they see the 35-yard line, but I actually think it's the opposite. They're forcing teams to kick it and have to return it, force people to return the football on you.
What?
If you can't put the ball inside the 5 on kickoff and tackle them before the 35-yard line, you got problems.
No doubt.
Especially with the format that we've got now and how it's blocked.
If the NFL wants the kickoff and kickoff return to be a significant play throughout the game, why don't they just say you have to return it? The touchback no longer. Now, if you boot it out of the end zone, okay, you're getting it at the 35. I don't think a bunch of special teams and defense combos are going to want that to be the case. So why don't you just say, hey, if you boot it out of the end zone, the other team gets it at the 35. If that doesn't happen, you have to return the football.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time.
That's why not? If you want the kickoff return to be a big play in the game, just say, hey, you have to return it. Like, you can't take a knee. You have to return. Like, this is an actual play. Return the ball. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. And remember, the big reason why the kickoff was this big discussion was because of the big collisions, guys running down the field and knocking the hell out of each other. It's gone, man. It's gone. These guys are 5 yards apart.
You can't use that as an excuse anymore. And I don't know that the data ever actually backed that up, but it definitely doesn't now. And I'm all for it. Hey, I think it can be an exciting part of the game. And I think this is essentially what that is. I mean, other than, if it's kicked into the end zone, 35-yard line is crazy. There's no way that you would just, as the kicking team, that you would just say we're happy with them starting at the 35. So, I mean, you're gonna force their hand to a large degree.
You're gonna get some safeties that can kick it inside the 5, and that's gonna be your kickoff guy now.
Yep.
I thought that was gonna happen more a year ago, but especially now with this rule change, You're going to get some defensive backs that kicked in high school that can boot it down there inside the 5 yard line that are now an extra capable tackler out on the kickoff cover team.
Uh, Kickoff to me, I mean, unless you really have a guy that can put some air under it and angle it down outside the numbers and kind of put it in the coffin corner where they've got you can really limit, you can focus your coverage to that side of the field. Outside of that, I would say the best way to kick off is a guy that's not very good at it that scatter shots the thing, and you got like a hot grounder coming and you don't know where it's going to be. It's hard to set up a return that way.
I like it. Just create an insane number of variables by having a random kickoff person.
Random kickoff person that can
We've got
tackle.
all kinds of great ideas. Look at
Come to
us.
here for your ideas, folks.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Well, I had to go with the Texas haters and file me into that category because with the hire of Sean Miller as their new basketball coach, I think they got a good one. Obviously did really good things at Arizona, two different stretches at Xavier. I I think they've got a good coach, good recruiter, good developer of talent. It's always one of those things. It's like you got to be careful what you wish for whenever you laugh too much at Texas for being bad, because if they make a change, there's a chance that they could make the home run higher. And I know it's not as flashy maybe as some people thought it was going to be, but I think they got a really good guy. And I think Texas basketball program, we know they've got a ton of resources to dedicate to it, and they're going to have good players, and I think now they got a really good coach.
Did a solid job at Xavier.
Yep.
I think most people remember him for his time at Arizona. Is it is it bad that the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about Sean Miller is just how sweaty he gets?
No, I don't
But I
think that's a bad
respect it.
thing.
I respect a coach that just gets a good lather going during a game. Makes me think he's working hard.
Hey, if you gathered all the guys together, maybe the more sweat for your head coach, the more wins. I don't know if that's something, but somebody needs to look into it. I don't know. I think it's a good hire for him, and it's crazy that you start to look at the coaches in the SEC continuing to stockpile highly thought of coaches in this conference. I know there's a lot of money going into NIL and players, but I mean, look at the lineup of coaches in this conference.
I think that this is interesting because I think there's a faction of OU's fan base. I'm not entirely sure how large it is, but they're like, okay, let's move on from Porter Moser. And I understand why some people feel that way. But Texas has all the resources in the world. They fire Rodney Terry and they bring in Sean Miller. So I don't think anyone goes, oh my gosh, Texas got Sean Miller. What an amazing slam dunk hire. He's a really good coach. He's been solid, but it's not like he's racked up national championships and Final Four appearances. That's not what he's been. So that's where I go, okay, who do OU fans think we're going to go get?
Well,
We've had this conversation a lot.
the okay, when you look at Porter Moser and you compare what OU fans think about Porter Moser as a coach with what kind of the narrative is. I mean, he wouldn't be up for the Villanova job if he was a bad coach. I think a lot of people factor in the problems at Oklahoma to a resource issue. When you look at some of the players that we've lost and haven't been able to keep, just the NIL war chest isn't what some other schools have. I the quality of your job is no longer tied to your history and your facilities. I mean, it is to some degree, but to the largest degree, it's okay. How much money are you going to give me to go out and get players? That's where the main focus is. So, to me, that would be the wall that we would run into. Is I don't know what big time coaches would think of the Oklahoma coaching job at the moment.
That's fair. We'll see. We don't even know if that's going to be an issue.
Right.
So, but it's just interesting. Like Texas lands Sean Miller. It's not like they went and made Brad Stevens come out of the front office for the Celtics and
Right.
is coaching their team. You know what I mean? I feel like some people just think that, oh, we'll go get huge name coach X. And I just don't know if that's realistic.
Yeah.
Texas just got Sean Miller. Like he's a really good coach. He's won a bunch of regular season conference championships at Xavier. Like he's done a good job. But I don't know. I just think it's a very interesting situation right now.
It is. I think a lot of the big name coaches are probably still happy with where they are for the guys that haven't retired and kind of checked out. So the lay of the land is it's hard to put. I mean, it's the same in college football to some degree, maybe for different reasons, but it's kind of hard to put your finger on where the sport is going to be in the next couple of years.
Let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
We got some Brunt workwear boots, and they are amazing. Comfortable. They feel like they are going to last forever. And the Marin boot checks every single box that you could. Lightweight, waterproof, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, electrical hazard rated, and are as comfortable as sneakers. And Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high performance gear built for tough jobs, from heavy duty work pants to weather resistant jackets. Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protective and productive in any condition. And Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. And for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using code OKBreakdown at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use code OKBreakdown, and you're all set. And even better, Brunt lets you try all their products on the job risk-free. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them you heard it here and we sent you. So head to bruntworkwear.com and use code OKBreakdown.
and we are brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. All you do is pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And it is a great time of the year to get on Prize Picks. There's all kinds of things, NBA, college, like just go have a time there on Prize Picks. And Prize Picks puts its members first. So with all withdrawals, they are fast, safe, and secure. When your pick hits, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. My winner of the week, Mike Gundy. Gundy says a lot of interesting things, but what he said on Tuesday is one of the best ideas he's ever had. Ted, he wants to bring Bedlam back, and he wants to do it during the spring. He wants to do a home-and-home scrimmage in the spring. He said charge $25 a head, use the money for NIL. He said if OU doesn't want to do two in a spring, hey, you can do it in Norman this year, you can do it in Stillwater next year, you split the gate. I love this idea. And he said it's not going to be a live game. You make it full thud and you practice against each other like they do in the NFL. I Give me a reason why this shouldn't happen. If they're not going to play the actual game, give us something, man. This would be awesome.
Yeah. And, it helps sharpen your tools. Like, I think it's good to have a lot of, um, good on good, practicing against yourself, your offense against your defense. But there does start to be a point of gaming the system to some degree by coaching staffs, by players. And I think that it's kind of dangles that carrot, right? You know that you're going to have to go out and perform in front of a bunch of people against another team. Got to have your A game. And if you do this, and I think he pointed it out, it doesn't mean you have to play all your starters and play a full 4-quarter game. It can be as simple as a joint practice, like you see in the NFL. But I think it's awesome. It's something that has been thrown around quite a bit. I don't know what the rules are, what the NCAA says about it, but I think it would be a home run, and I think they could help both teams out. I mean, I loved his idea about 20 $25 a person, fund your NIL with it, whatever you want to do. I can't find any holes in it. I love it.
Apparently, the NCAA does not, because currently, and this came to light because Deion Sanders, like Colorado's trying to do this with Syracuse. Deion Sanders has talked about it publicly. Currently, NCAA bylaws prohibit teams from playing each other in the spring. That rule needs to change.
I wonder what that means, though, by playing each other.
From what I understand, that includes practice, because Deion Sanders is trying to do it, and that's why this discussion has started. And that's Gundy got sent an article about Deion wanting to do it, and that's where Gundy was like, yeah, we should do that with OU. It's a great idea. Why wouldn't we do that?
Right.
But if the NCAA bylaws currently prevent teams from conducting joint practices, then the bylaws need to change. If teams want to practice each other in the spring, there's absolutely no reason they shouldn't be able to do it.
I'm trying my guess is the NCAA has that rule because, I don't know, financially or logistically, some teams may not have the capability to do that, and it's an unfair advantage for those that do. I mean, I'm guessing, is that right? Otherwise, it doesn't make it. There's nothing else for that rule to exist.
You know what's unfair? The SEC and Big Ten teams getting the media deals payouts that they get, and the rest of college football getting what that.
I agree.
So let's stop acting like things need to be equitable across. Is that a word? Equitable?
It's definitely a word.
Okay. Let's stop. Let me get back to it. Let's stop saying that things need to be equitable across college football, because it's not. That's not the sport.
It's not. Never has
so
been.
There's to me, it feels like joint practices are inevitable in the Power Four. The NCAA needs to change the rule. They absolutely should change the rule. There is no reason why you shouldn't be able to go practice 2 days in a row against another team. Yep. If you're willing to pay for the travel and what it takes, like, there is absolutely no reason. Because and a lot of these things, I think they would happen between teams that are in close proximity, that are in different conferences.
Totally agree.
So you're just paying whatever it costs to rent the bus.
Yep.
That's it.
They do it in the NFL with teams that you do play on the schedule.
When I was in Detroit, we had joint practices against Pittsburgh. When I was in Tennessee, we had joint practices against Atlanta. I've done it. It was great. And honestly, it was a refreshing change-up. You get very tired of hitting the same guys and playing against the same defense practice after practice after practice, whether that's spring or training camp. I think the players and the coaches would love it. And the people that would love it most of all is probably the fans if you let them come.
Yep.
I mean, that would be, I think that would be a ton of fun.
I'm pretty sure I could be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure that when I was in Jacksonville, we had a joint practice in Atlanta with the Falcons and Tennessee. There was three teams there, and it was basically constant round robin, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, you get it. It gets intense, and
There's going to be a fight.
nothing wrong with that.
You've got fights at your own spring practice. It's fine.
That's why the fans show up.
I think it would be really cool for fans to get to watch what a real college football practice looks like. You watch them go through individual. You watch them warm up. You watch them go through the individual drills. You watch them go through inside run or pods. You watch them do team run and play action. You watch them do team move the ball, team situations. Hey, here, it's red zone. It's third and long. It's blitz period. It's low red zone. It's goal line. Like, I think fans would love to watch how these practices are actually conducted. And then you add into the fact that it's two teams going against each other. It would be great.
I mean, it'd be great for the fans. I think the fans would love it. And I think it's great for the teams. I think you would probably end up getting more out of that than just having another practice you're running through the same exact schedule, same breakdown, same drills. Sign me up.
I honestly believe that if Brent Venables called Mike Gundy today and said, "Hey, you know that Crimson Combine thing we said we're doing? We're scrapping it. We want to practice against you guys in our stadium on April 12th." I think Mike Gundy would say yes and say, "All right, yeah, we'll gas up the buses. We'll be there."
Yeah.
You guys, hey, can you guys come to Norman? Or can you guys come to Stillwater on the 19th? I honestly think Gundy would do it this season, like in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I think fans would love it. I have no idea what the ticket sales are right now, what they're looking like for the Crimson Combine, Ted. But I guarantee you they would get a significant boost if you said, "Hey, Cowboys are coming to Norman. We're going to practice them. You guys are welcome. We'll see you April 12th." I think both fan bases would respond in a big way.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I think it would probably sell better than a spring game would.
No doubt in my mind.
Because I mean, maybe not every year, but for the first year, I think it'd be awesome. And again, it's not a going through the motions thing that often spring games can become. It'd be legit, and you'd see what your team has. I mean, it'd be a really good test to see where you're at the time.
I think I have one idea that's better than Gundy's home and home spring idea.
Okay.
Just bring the game back.
Right. Yeah.
Just play the game. Just play the game. Don't see any reason why they're just play the game. The split has happened. Let's move on. Let's grow up. Let's play the game.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's just play the game.
I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for it. I've said this a million times and I'll keep saying it. If you're going to play non-conference games, and like with Oklahoma State, it wouldn't be a pay deal, but if you're going to pay to play teams in the non-conference, I don't know why you put that money anywhere other than into the Oklahoma programs that you can. Tulsa. I think we should play Tulsa every year. And maybe Tulsa doesn't want that. So if they don't, there's nothing you can do. But if we're going to pay someone, pay the teams in state.
Great idea, Mike Gundy. I I honestly hope he keeps bringing this up. You bring it
I'm
up
sure he's going to
enough.
be asked about it pretty much constantly now.
Yeah.
Good thing. And Venables is going to be asked about it.
I I can't imagine Venables wouldn't love it. Like just a joint practice. And you know who knows something about creating maybe the most competitive practice environment imaginable?
Yes, I do.
Jim Nagy.
It's
It's
the
been his
Senior
job.
Bowl. It's the college version of the Senior Bowl.
No practices matter more for college football players than those practices.
And like, I know it's not really a factor at all, but you'd have every ton of NFL scouts would be there.
Never hurts.
Right.
I mean, the Senior Bowl is the ultimate joint practice when you think about it. It's guys from all these different schools coming. You put them on a team. Hey, guys, you're going to go practice. And then you're going to play a game. I. It would be awesome if we are not going to get Bedlam, like the actual game, then give us this. You don't have to tackle to the ground. Just do a joint practice, a physical practice where you're getting really good work in against another team, and all the great people in the great state of Oklahoma can come watch it and be entertained.
And I don't think, I think a joint practice is enough. But if they wanted to spice it up and do fun things, they could also do that too for the crowd. Like whatever that might be, people could come up with all kinds of different ideas with little competitions or stuff that you could do that are safe and fun for the fan base, and kind of crank up the competition between the two teams a little bit. I mean, they could do that too. Again, I think a joint practice is all you need, but it's a home run in my opinion.
Tug of war, O line versus O line, starting five on starting five,
Sure,
quarterback like throwing contests,
absolutely.
fastest guy against fastest guy. We're
Fastest
racing.
guy contest, yeah, all of that. You could do any of it.
You could weave that all into a joint practice. It's easy. I hope it happens.
I
Make
do
it
too.
happen, Mike Gundy. Keep beating the drum, Mike. My loser of the week. Troy Taylor, my goodness.
That escalated quickly.
He gone. Andrew Luck. Yeah, that Andrew Luck. GM. GM Luck said, "You're out of here." Gave him the axe. Now, what, he went like 3-9 the last 2 years? But him getting fired has everything to do with his behavior and the investigations into his behavior. Two separate investigations. And I was reading an ESPN article about it, and the findings include, quote, he bullied and belittled female athletic staffers, sought to have an NCAA compliance officer removed after she warned him of rules violations, and repeatedly made inappropriate comments to another woman about her appearance. How can Troy Taylor be this stupid?
I thought it was comical that part of his defense was that he's just a jerk to everybody.
That's just me, guys.
It's just
It's
me.
not because they're women. I treat everyone that way.
Right.
That's how I treat children too. Like it is it weird. Like Stanford is maybe the last place I thought something like this would happen.
Yeah. I and I don't know a whole lot of the details of the investigation, but and maybe what he's done is has obviously warrants a firing. But I do wonder if it's also presents the opportunity to get the person in place that they want. And I don't
I
know if maybe they already have somebody in mind or what, but this gives you a chance to fire someone with cause. And when you can do that, you save a lot of money.
You save a lot of money, and I would not be surprised if they maybe already have a yes from a top target. Maybe you have that conversation behind closed doors, say, hey, listen, Taylor's going to be gone. Like these investigations, like he's not going to survive this. What do you think about being the head coach at Stanford? I have no idea if Andrew Luck has had those conversations or not. No clue.
Right.
But would it shock me? Not really. But the bottom line of the Troy Taylor situation is just don't be a weirdo, man. I don't know. I don't know how you feel. Dude, it's 2025. You can't be that way. This isn't Mad Men, bro. Like you just I don't know what like especially in a place like Stanford. What is he doing?
You can't do it. Um, and here's the thing. You especially can't do it when you're losing. Uh,
You shouldn't
everything,
treat people that way anytime, right? As a leader of an
absolutely.
organization. But yes, that is a tremendous point, Ted.
If you're not playing well, any and everything is going to surface, and you're not going to be able. If you've gotten away with those things in the past, it ain't going to happen. I It's just dumb, but I we continue to see this stuff, and maybe it's not nearly at the level it was previous. I don't know, but you just there's no way you're going to be able to get away with it, and it's not going to be buried. The days of burying stuff like that, nope, that's gone. You'll be out.
One of the interesting parts about this whole thing was that Andrew Luck was the one that came out with the statement saying that he was fired. Typically, that has always been an athletic director's role or even a school president's role.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting that hey, this is they gave Andrew Luck that power as the general manager, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how different schools handle that general manager role.
Yeah.
This felt like a very NFL style general manager role with the way that everything was presented. I thought it was very interesting, and the NFL model, like the only person that typically can overrule the general manager is the owner. So, which leads to another layer of the college football conversation. Like, who can overrule some of these general managers as these more professional models are being implemented across the country? I don't know. I just think it's going to be so fascinating to see the different approaches from different schools when it comes to the front office structure and like the power structure within those front offices.
The organizational flow chart is going to be different from program to program, and it is. I I don't think it necessarily is going to change the. Um, I mean, you're still going to have your some of your same people making the your athletic director is going to be typically the one that makes those big decisions, but it does add an interesting another layer there that can help if an director needs to distance themselves from whatever situation. You've got that layer now.
Wonder who Stanford's going to hire. It's a very weird time to fire a coach.
Is he going to go Barry Alvarez and just name himself?
I hadn't thought of that. I
I'm naming myself interim head coach
I
until
am
we find a guy.
GM and interim head coach. Honestly, is there anything that could be better for Stanford? Like, hey,
What's the
Andrew
worst that
Luck
can
is our head
happen? You
coach
go
now,
three
guys.
and nine again?
Yeah, how bad can it be?
It's kind of the trend right now. I mean, you're starting to see a bunch of former NFL guys get in the mix all over the place, different levels, but I don't know. Interesting.
I You have me intrigued. Birthday shout outs. Happy 10th birthday to Dylan Simpson.
Happy 26th birthday to Uncle Donnie Powell from Loaf, Brady,
Bandy
Pilot.
or Brady? I typed it wrong.
I think it's It's probably Brady. From Loaf, Brady, Pilot, and Cannoli Joe.
I think it was Bandy because
Oh,
the N and R are nowhere near each other on the keyboard.
okay. Bandy.
Sorry,
Loaf,
Bandy.
Bandy, Pilot, and Cannoli Joe.
Cannoli Joe. That's awesome. Happy 26th birthday to Noah Sowards.
How about this? Happy 95th birthday to John Niedermeyer.
9-5. That's
9-5.
that's big time. Happy 46th birthday to Chad Crawford.
And happy birthday to Tyler Self.
And our condolences to the family of Tony Pops Lewis on his passing. Got a description of Pops. Sounds like this dude was a football guy. May he
We
rest
love
in peace.
football guys. Yep.
On that note, episode 513 in the books. We'll have a new episode that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com, where we've got everything in one spot. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do we always do, Oklahoma? Take care of each other.